Dass der Wirkungsgrad und die Emissionen von
Measuring the efficiency and emissions of biomass heating systems is nothing new, but that the measurements are taken under real conditions and not in the laboratory, this is something new and happens for the first time at EU level, all over the EU, from Denmark to Greece. A project was started here at Bioenergy 2020 Plus that is carried out throughout Europe.
Vijay Verma, you're senior researcher here at Bioenergy and you're head of this particular project. What is it all about?
More than 8 million households in all the Europe, they use biomass-based boilers for heat and hot water production. What happens when you, me or someone else go to buy a biomass boiler in the market? Most of the boiler we buy, they are tested for efficiency and emissions under controlled laboratory conditions. But nobody knows, or at least it is not very clear, that how these boilers they actually perform in the real life situation. Then that means that in a real life situation, boiler almost never run in a stable condition, but the load of the boiler operation always keep fluctuating, and that's what makes a big difference here.
And it also makes a big difference whether it's operated in a cold country or a warm country, and that's why this particular research is conducted all over Europe.
Exactly. So that's one of the main targets of this project, that we don't want to focus at one country, but we are trying to cover almost all the climatic zones possible in Europe. For example, I show here one slide to you. Then we have the coldest possible climate in Europe is the Denmark participating in this project. Then we have moderately cold climate from Germany and Austria. Then we have rainy climate from United Kingdom. Then we pass to a bit warmer and a pleasant climate in Greece and in Spain.
Now, how many boilers are we actually looking at, and how many boilers are participating in this project?
We have actually quite a lot of demonstration in this project. So in a laboratory, we show the performance of around 23 boilers. In field, we demonstrate 24 boiler performance. They are distributed all over European country based on the participants in the project, and roughly 2,200 installations they are surveyed again in many European countries.
One of which we're going to visit right now, just around the corner. It's a person who's also working here at Bioenergy, but she's participating in this project.
Yeah, she's participating in this project as she has one of the boiler. And when we told her about this project, she was very happy to participate, because she wanted to know that how her boiler is exactly working, or how is the real performance of her boiler in her house. So she found it very interesting, and she's all the time cooperative with us.
So let's have a look at this particular boiler.
We will set off to visit the lady who is, on the one hand, working here and also has a research project right in the basement below her living room. So here we are in Mrs. Sonnleitner's basement. That is a test facility for Bioenergy 2020 Plus.
Vijay, how is the setup of this project here in the cellar?
So now we are at one of the sites for the BioMaxEff EFF project. We have a boiler, which is a pellet boiler of 6 kilowatt capacity. We are determining the annual efficiency and emissions from this boiler. So to know how much fuel the boiler is consuming, we have placed the boiler on a balance here, so that we know over a period of time what amount of energy input has been given to boiler to get at the end what is the annual efficiency. The data are recorded right
Take a look over there
in this display. In addition to this, we have installed a heat meter in the boiler, and the heat meter is just right here. This heat meter gives all the information about the heat profile of the boiler over a period of a year. The data which we record from the heat meter, they are stored in a computer here. We have this PC. All the data are saved in it, and it has a capacity where it has a capacity which can take the data up to 5-6 years in a continuous run.
Vijay, the computer behind us is not installed all the time, but it's there today in order to show what parameters you can take from the performance of the machine. Why don't you just walk us through the display?
Yeah, so we have a computer here which is connected to the boiler, and we have all the parameters which are recorded from boiler displayed on this PC. We have different parameters being recorded, like boiler temperature, temperature in the combustion chamber, ambient temperature, temperature of the water entering the boiler, and the temperature of water leaving the boiler, and the amount of water being heated. So all these parameters, they are needed to determine the efficiency of the boiler. In addition to this, we also are measuring how much electricity boiler is consuming in a daily basis. Then here on the bottom figure on the left hand side, we have the operational profile of the boiler. This shows that at what percent of the nominal capacity the boiler has been running today.
And generally speaking, you must be quite happy with the performance of the boiler as demonstrated by this filter, which seems to be quite clean.
Yes, this is a very good performing boiler. We have collected particles on this filter and it seems quite clear. So we don't have much particle emission from this type of boilers.
Especially compared with another clean filter over there.
Yeah, if you compare it with a blank filter, we see that there are not so many particles on this filter.
So there's hardly a difference.
Yeah.
So generally speaking, this boiler behind us here in this particular house performs all right.
Yeah, this boiler performs quite well, and it's one of the efficient installation.
Mrs. Sonnleitner, you are a researcher at Bioenergy and living nearby at Ips. Usually it says business before pleasure. You have the pleasure to take your work home. Is it a pleasure?
Natürlich ist es ein Vergnügen. Wir haben ja im Keller die
Of course it is. We have a test facility for the BioMaxEff project in our cellar, and some of my colleagues come around during the heating season to run tests at our home. That doesn't disturb our normal life. It is even nice to have some time with colleagues at home.
Auch zu Hause Zeit verbringen kann.
And if you know your heating system is working properly.
Natürlich, das ist das große Plus.
Of course, that's the big plus, that you are convinced of the efficiency and performance of your installation during normal operation. And it's also a good feeling if it is checked and you know it works even better with each new setting.
The systems that are reviewed and tested within the project are distributed all over Europe. This one is in a moderate climate. What insights can be gained here, for example, in relation to very cold or very warm climates?
Wir haben hier in Niederösterreich auch.
In Lower Austria we have rather cold winters, and also knowledge about the transitional period can be gained. Here you can monitor a moderate climate, and it's a valuable reference for the comparison with other member states.
Dann koppeln wir diesen Versuch nochmal dahin zurück, wo
Then let's set this experiment in relation with the real world. This is a test facility. The findings obtained here and elsewhere shall be transferred into systems and devices for sale and consumption at home. Where do these tests lead to?
Wohin wird diese Versuchsreihe münden?
I hope that the findings obtained from our installation will subsequently help other families and homes, that their systems can be optimized and will work even better.